inside of us. And it's wonderful when we have the courage to tell it.
And the truth shall set you free!
Welcome to 8192 The Truth with Brother Sin and the Godfather. Make sure you subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, and TuneIn. New episodes drop every single week. Now here's your host, the Godfather, Joel D. Supernaw.
Welcome, everybody, to a bonus episode of 8192 The Truth. So, down here in the Pac West Center, and I just finished up an episode with Randy Couture, and I don't have anywhere to go. It's Friday, and I've got a free studio. So I'm like, all right, how can I make another show? You've heard me talk. You've heard both me and Chael talk on his podcast, You're Welcome. I've spoken many times about Brother Reece. Well, on the line right now, we have Brother Reece Blahuta. What's up, Reece?
What's up, my man? How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. So is this is your podcast debut? Now you've went on.
This is it.
All right. So let me do the backstory on Reece, and then we'll bat this thing around. So I meet Reece back. Did I already have money when I met you, Reece?
Yeah, you're rich.
Okay. Okay.
You have 2 humps and a boat.
Okay. So I meet Reece, and I think the way I met Reece was, Reece is you're living with Chael in Woodburn, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So the backstory is you and Chael go to college together. Do you get involved with the madness, which is collegiate wrestling, or do you guys become friends afterward? You and Chael.
Well, I knew him from high school. We went to the same high school, and then we went to the same college. Still have it, but I knew him. We were friends, and I kind of mixed in that world. We weren't good buddies. We all go out together. But so no, I didn't really know him until after college, LA, and I moved back. My parents, so I needed someplace to live, and he had the Woodburn property. So I hit him up. Our mutual buddy Carl was one of my best friends, so he was living there. So we had a next room, and that's where it began.
All right, cool. Let me back this up for a minute. So you guys went to high school together. Were you in the same class, or was he a year older or a year?
He was 95. I was 96. I think we're the same age, but you're old.
Okay. All right. So now let me do the Reece backstory. So when Reece is in high school, his parents are loaded. They live in the mansion. They go to front row. Tyson. What are some of the big fights you've been to?
Oh, I was at Tyson Holyfield one.
Yeah. So
with the shop provided by the casino, and I was 17 years old.
Okay. So
I was so drunk, 17. That I don't remember the fight, and I don't even have, because that's when all they have disposable cameras. I was so drunk I kept hitting the button in my pocket, so all the pictures are black. I have no.
Okay, so coming up, a child of privilege in West Lynn. Did you guys struggle, or were you always loaded in a kid of privilege? Did you just think life was going to be this big fairy tale?
Oh, no, we grew up when I was a child, before my dad had auto parts, and it burned down.
Okay, so you had a
job, work too, so we were like low white trash tech work until like I was like 12.
Okay, and then
we hit the Beverly Hillbillies. We moved to West,
and
chaos again.
And you much like the Godfather. You just fit right in with the burn money like you needed to burn it and have a good time doing it. All right, so we fast.
Yeah, you be the only person I've ever met that has little extra money as I.
You're doing a lot better, Reece. Your new Reece 2.0 is doing a lot better. All right, so let's let's fast forward. So you know of Chael and his group of bandits at college, but you're not on the inner circle.
Oh, well, I was good friends with some of his friends that I would tell, but I like call up out with him, but I would call up like people that he would call. In other words, I don't know, Kevin or Benji, or there was a bunch of guys, Carl, a bunch of guys, mutually good. But Kel and I, we were friends. I knew, hey, what's up? But that's about it.
Okay, but did you have the inside view to the madness, which is collegiate wrestling, and then this will become MMA? I mean, your vantage point of MMA isn't much different than mine.
No, I think I was pretty much like right from the very beginning. Yeah, you and I were right there on day one.
So, all right, so we let's run through this quick. So, me and Reece become bros through Chael, and Reece just gets my, I have it, I lose it, I get it back. He just gets it. He's always there. Now what Reece does is Reece is a underpaid professional in aerospace. Is that correct? At the time you're making 60, 70 grand, should be making 100 grand, but you are a 9-to-5er and you're miserable. Is this a fair statement before you just say, no, I'm done with them? Is that
that would be an accurate statement.
All right. So Reece is pounding the clock 9 to 5, and he starts a clothing company. And this is actually a really cool story. Reece starts a clothing company called 1950. And what 1950 is, and jump in anytime when I screw this up. 1950 is old school country music, and the old school, not the hip hop country. Help explain it a little bit. I want to call it underground, the underground. But go ahead and give the listeners kind of a behind the scene. Pump up 1950, and then I'll start running with it again, and all the way to where we're actually on a NASCAR, which is just a Cinderella story. But backstory behind 1950.
Oh, well, I guess like most people out there, the music, country music here on the radio, made my stomach hurt, and I always hated it. I always liked old stuff, Waylon, David Alco, Billy Nelson. Half the time, I stored my clothes, and I hated everything. There was all that other stuff. So Dave Alco had called Brady because I was Summer Montgomery, had a guitar on my back, and pulled up beside an antique Cadillac, dressed like 1950. So I was like, I'm just going to go buy black and put 1950 on them for myself, wear them around. Well, Kevin, one of our mutual friends, Chael's his part, saw me wearing it. He was and like, oh, that's really cool. He's like, I think sell it. Crazy. So, like, let's get at St. Paul Road. I was like, we didn't have any money. We started the company with no. So I was like, cool, let's do it. So we split.
Hey, let me stop you there. Let me stop you there for a second. You didn't. You didn't have any money. Kevin Keeney had money, but Kevin Keeney isn't parting with the dollar. But go on.
No. Yeah, of course. That's crazy. So split a 10x10 St. Paul Rodeo, a peach orchard, and a cage fight, shell cage. So we had about and started selling T-shirts. And I didn't honestly not would sell one, not one. Remember where I called one pop, and I was like, did we know? No, I could not wrap my hand around the spot. Make a long story short, week was over. Saturday night, sold 8, which could have sold 83,000 up. I wouldn't have been any happier. So, I went out and celebrated. Had too much attack on the St. Paul Rodeo and fist cup, which I came out on the court and big thing that he was the heavyweight. market. And it's been a Cinderella story ever since.
All right, so now let me fast forward. So Reese's reaches a 9-to-5er, and he's miserable, and he just says, you know what, I'm done. Quits his job, quits his $70,000 a year job, doesn't have a backup plan, and says, I'm going to do this 1950 thing.
Yeah, in one day, there's no back. At about 7, I quit my job, quit chewing, quit drinking, I quit caffeine, and I quit became a vegetarian.
Now, are you still off the caffeine?
No, I love it.
All right, but you're chew free still, right?
Yeah, that's probably the tough.
And for now he's alcohol free. But hold on, Reece. Let me. There's so much more to go. So Reece. So now I've been through my heights, down, back up again, and then now again. So we fast forward to a part of the world where I am living in Reese's 1-bedroom. If it's 700 square feet, it's that's all of it, the whole place. And I have a little portion of the floor and the hyperbaric chamber that we called it to put my clothes in. So me and Reece are, you know, we're in it. We're in it to win it. Reece meets a young lady from the East Coast. I want to say Maryland. Meets her online. They start. He starts flying out there. She starts flying to Portland. They go back and forth. I move out of Reese's place, move back into Reese's place, and one day me and Led get a hotel because, you know, the place is too small, and I call Reece, or I text Reece, hey, we're staying at the Grand Hotel, which was right next door, blah, 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 and Reece is like, I'm in, Pendleton. I'm in Pendleton heading for Maryland. In the middle of the night, Reece-mo, I want to say it's 2 years. We're a little bit over 2 years, isn't that correct?
Oh, no, about a year and a half.
All right, year and a half. Reece moves lock, stock, and barrel to the new love of his life out in Maryland, continues to work on the 1950 brand, gets the 1950 brand on a NASCAR for free. Girlfriend breaks up with him. He gets a $100,000 a year professional job, and now you're up to speed. Go ahead and fill in the blank.
Yes, broad strokes. My ex had short hair, stuff that was hot, so I ran search the hashtag picture cut, found the hottest I could find, started blowing her up, wore her down. We started dating. Then I moved out here. I trained out here, program management, kind of the hotbed of it. So I thought I went to have in trouble finding a job. So I worked at a pool company, the pool guy. Wow. Then I got laid off. I started. I was assistant grocery manager at Target. My boss was 20 years old. Managed the dairy aisle. It was a high point of my life.
No, the Starbucks. Don't forget the Starbucks.
Oh yeah, they put me on the cashier at Starbucks Black Friday. I can't even begin to describe listeners out there how difficult of a job that should be $1 million. It was a tough job I ever had. So then breaks up. I'm homeless, broke, in the middle of PF Maryland.
Now let me jump in here. Okay, so Reece gets broken up with. Now I'm in Kansas City. It's the middle of the winter. I've got some money. Okay, I've got some money, and I'm like, Reece, if you want to come out, I'll send you money right now. And he says no. He's within hours of now moving to Kansas to live in my 1-bedroom place. Okay, he's right there on the edge, but he decides to tough it out. All right.
Yeah, I've been through enough storms that usually I've learned that usually they produce pretty good results. So stick through them, good things are on the other side. So, make a long story short, yeah, I was homeless. I was eating at McDonald's every other day, one meal. Truly thought there was a chance I was going to starve to death. I was really proud to call anybody who don't borrow money. And then my phone rang, and I got a job off. So I got like a 800% in one day.
In one day, this is a true story. In one day, Reece goes from getting ready to either starve to death or pack up and move in with the Godfather in Kansas City. Okay, and you know, broke Joel's a handful to deal with, but Joel with some money, man, I could see your pause on that, Reece. So, but let me throw some shade on old Sugar Britches. So, all right, now let me tell you, you know, I think when you give a guy a compliment, you have to start by saying no homo or something. That's verbiage that is not 8192, but whatever. Anyway, Reece is a handsome guy. He's also in really, really, really good shape. And he looks about 10 years younger than he is. He could probably pass for anywhere from 28 to 32, and he's in really, really good shape. Now,
that's all. He speaks the truth up.
Okay. So look him up. Look 1950 up. Go find Reece Mo. Okay. So anyway, Reece is and his gal. She is a knockout. She's got a dynamite body, but there's a story. There's a line called "In for a penny, in for a pound," and Reece is one of those guys that is in for a penny, in for a pound. He moves lock, stock, and barrel out, and man, he's cleaning pools. He's working at the Target. He's still doing his 1950. He's trying to get his come up. This is a Cinderella story waiting to happen. Sugar Britches is on a vacation of some sorts, or she's somewhere. She calls him. Reece just got anywhere from 100 to 150,000 with a lot of leg. He's back in the mix immediately. He just got a big time job. Before he can get it out of his mouth and tell her, "Hey man, Daddy's back. We're in the clear." She boots him out of the house. Now he's about done with her anyway, so he lets her run on. So I'm gonna.
I called her to tell her that, hey, it's over. We're back in Colorado. We're back. And she didn't pick up, so I called her to tell her. She answered the phone before I could speak. She went off and booted the house.
He said, and then he sends her an email saying, "Hey, listen, hey, good luck with everything. Da 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 da. Daddy just landed a bomb ass job. Peace."
So I gave her 24 hours. Then she texted the next day and said, "Why are you selling my house?" I said, "All right." Packed it up. I sent her a text. "Hey, thanks for everything. I appreciate it. Appreciate you letting me stay here. Sorry for trying to get a hold of you so badly last night. I just wanted to let you know that I got that job. Good days, bright days are ahead. Well, take care." And when that pushed in, I swear to God, in my head, Stone Cold boss music went on. Like the music broke, I was like that 316 RJ shit. It was the so greatest moment of my life.
Yeah, and so 1950 clothingcompany.com, is that correct?
1950clothingco.com.
Clothingco.com. All right, so 1950 is on a NASCAR. 1950 clothing. Are we still on the 7.2 car, Reece?
Yeah. But at college, we were up primary. It was pretty cool. We ran the top 10 most of the day. We drafted Jim John, Doyle John, Boat, Ken Doyle, the Fortune 500 company. It was 1950 right line.
So 1950. So I remember that day because for whatever reason, I know why is because we're on the so Reece somehow gets the 1950 logo gets on the 7-2 car, and this is the Sunday races, guys. This is I'm not NASCAR guy, but I know the biggest you can get in it. They race Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, but the UFC of NASCAR is run on Sundays. The Daytona, Talladega, Bristol. I know all those things. So Reece is on, he's a little bit over a fist-sized 1950 logo on a car. That's cool. And then it seems like 4 weeks later, the entire hood of the 72 car is 1950. And that day we're going back and forth, texting back and forth. It's crazy. I think he got as high as number 7. If the 7-2 car wins that day, is that kind of like 1950 winning the lottery?
Yeah, I definitely think so. That's on that car. That's a $100,000 race cost. We were there, so even just being in the race. And I grew up a lifetime NASCAR, dad NASCAR, and just to go to the Talladega race would have been hitting the lottery. But to be in it, on a hood, you look up the program, Team 1950 clothing show that day, in the top 10, it was incredible.
Yeah, and so to now you might be on another car. Is that correct? You might be going to another car, the 1950.
Well, we're still on the price from work. So my guy named Brian, Holy Rock, crew chief, they're hardcore outlaw fans. So we have a work like them, so yeah, it's always up there. See where it comes out.
Well, the fact of the matter, Reece, is being a guy that quit his professional job to pour himself into this 1950 to get on the hood, the full hood of a NASCAR. Isn't anything possible? Isn't anything possible with that 1950 clothing company?
Yeah, it's all that shit guys say. All those motivational speakers, life keep showing up, and something will happen. Not that I'm anywhere. My company is. I can tell you that shit is. Something just keep showing up, and eventually it'll.
All right, now let's talk. Let's go. Let's revisit history through your eyes. So, the guys are fighting out of the back bay of the dealership, and now do you come along? But do you remember when it wasn't Team Quest? It was just guys fighting in the back of the dealership, right?
That would have been right when I started getting on the scene, but yeah, I remember those days. Okay,
so Chael starts fighting all over the place. You guys are living in a frat house, basically, isn't it? It's you, Carl, and Chael. Is that correct out there in the Double Deuce in Woodburn?
Yeah, that is true. And frat house.
Yeah, young guys out of college. Both Reece and Carl are partiers. They're drinkers at the time. Chael is the only sober guy I know on the planet that likes to be around drunk people.
True.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's a great mix because crazier, sober, most people are drunk. But I think we have a designated driver and can do whatever the hell you want.
Yeah, well, he's come a long way. He's done some pretty stupid things, including the hell ride from San Francisco last year. So, but let's back it up. So Chael's fighting. Yeah, where are some of the fights that you went to when he was making $500 a fight, and you're like me. You're like, oh, cool, my buddy's fighting a cage. It's a reason to go get liquor for the weekend, right?
Oh yeah. It was about anything making any money, but I went to I was at the IF in Denver, where I looked back on it, how it's not like, I don't know, in the Hall of Fame, something. It was 8-10 tournament. Had Bob Blue, had Forrest Griffin, had Trevor Frank, it had Jail, it had Shogun, and it had Mike Van Arsdale in it. And 3 fights tonight. Are you kidding? These guys fight time here. Guys, everybody in that eventually either a champion or at least the top 10, if not the top 5. And those guys got, I don't think got so money. The winner might, and the winner got $1,000, but that was like all the money for all. And I'm sure they probably didn't get paid on it. That was just when I remember we went to Rumble on the Reservation, Red.
Now, okay, let's go to that one. So the Rumble at the Reservation, see, people don't understand. Back then, there wasn't a commission overseeing this stuff. It was either legal or not legal. So the Rumble at the Reservation, isn't that the one that he fights Babalu, but he wins, but then they say he wasn't supposed to win or something, like they were shooting a TV show or something? What was the...
That was before that one, but that another Rumble crazy, but it was in L.A. It wasn't sanctioned in L.A. Hell, it wasn't sanctioned in L.A. till what, 8 years ago or something? I mean, it's like 1,000. So the only way they could throw an event was they were filming a TV show. So they had all the cast and everything was like cage fight, move, and it was supposed to be a 3-round fight. That went out 1-1. Bob won. We're going to the third. They heard the cops on the way, called it off. Scorecards, tail won.
Now you're blistered at every one of these shows, right? You're knee deep in the bottle.
Yeah. Oh God.
All right, so now we fast forward a little bit. You guys have moved to West Lynn, and he's winning 2, losing 1. He's just right there. Chael's just right there on the cusp of breaking into the UFC. As a matter of fact, I remember when he fought Babalu in the UFC. I remember I went out to the Mohegan Sun. I got one of those cool guy passes, the corner passes or whatever, so I can walk around anywhere and cheer. I remember turning around and yelling at the stands, yelling at Babalu's fans, turning my head around and the fight's over. I remember the check that Chael got for that fight sat on your guys', because now you guys are living in West Lynn. It sat on his refrigerator, your guys' refrigerator, for, man, two years at least. I think it was $50, or it was like $119, which was his end check after paying everything. Is that? Am I close on that?
Oh yeah, I think it still has. It was definitely less by the time he got. I mean, he lost $4,000. I mean, back then, I remember where I was, and I heard Matt got $40,000 for a fight. I was at the Wood 7-Eleven. Someone told me, like, "Oh my God, you could almost do this for a living." That wasn't even a hobby, just a hobby. The guy's got a little money on the side and like to compete. It'd be like going, someone paying you to go to 4-hour work out. Like, you might actually be able to make a bit of money on it. That was back then. The way it was, those guys, it wasn't about money. It was about who was up for it.
So Chael goes on a roll. When did you, as his roommate, as his best friend, when did you think, hey man, this guy might be a world champion?
Oh, I don't know that you ever or I ever do. Those guys are all just such a fine line, just like, a flip of a point here or there, one position. But I could definitely just switch after he got wrecked. Yeah, I think that was the first time he really started training and living like a champion. Like before then, he had Jesse Pope, who was an electrician trainer at one point. I mean, he was just kind of living on talent and stuff. But after he got lit up by Maya, started actually champion. I thought, all right, might actually go on a run. And I mean, between that, about maybe a year. I'll tell you this: first time he was in a car with Silva 3 months before he fought him. It was no more than 6. I'll tell you that. And he was. I believed that he was in the car. He was so geeked out. He took a picture of Anderson and sent it. 6 months later, and I'm going to think it could have been 9 days. The cage shit out. That's how that happened. It happened.
Yeah, he lit it on. He lit it on fire. I tell you what. Let's fast forward. So Chael goes up and down and up and down. Let's fast forward to right now. How insane is it that Chael's two winnable fights? He can win these fights. He can beat Fedor. This isn't, this isn't 10 years ago, Fedor. This is now Fedor. I imagine Fedor's got about 3 minutes to beat Chael. The landscape of the UFC is, unless your name is Conor McGregor or John Jones or Brock Lesnar, 2 of those guys are suspended. You can't draw over $500,000. Chael's got 2 fights left on his contract. If he beats Fedor going into his last fight to fight for the championship, does Bellator not have to just open up the bank vault to keep him?
Oh, I would imagine him. How many good heavyweights are out there? I mean, like 5 Mark Jones, the heavyweight, George UFC, the heavyweight. I mean, got what, a guy? Anybody knows the name, and then you got a bunch of,
Well, it doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter at this point. To me, to my vision of this thing, man, if he's smart, I don't even think it matters. He beats Fedor. He goes to the championship finals out of a weight class. He doesn't sign. He goes back to the UFC. He's the top. He's a top 3 draw in the UFC, and then they have to pay him the moon at whatever weight class. And being his friend, but also being a UFC mark, I want to go to the UFC shows. Those Bellator shows suck.
Well, and not only that, but I think if he got back to UFC, he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. Absolutely. Sport. Everyone talks about Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor, all that shit doing, that's sales material. That is not BS. Look that up. And there was nobody trash talking. Chael came out. He was first. He did the best effort. And he has not or needs to be remembered as it. He needs to go in the damn hall. I think it's a crime.
Yeah, but where is the Hall of Fame? Where can I go to a UFC Hall of Fame?
Or any of them. I mean, does it really matter? No. I do. His legacy. It's something he deserves.
Yeah, hold on, Reece. You'll love this story. Okay, so that now Chael's got Thero. So he's got, I want to say Thero's 3, and then he's got baby Priya, who she's new. She's brand new. She's not even a year yet. She still smells like a baby. So I mean, Chael's got he's got a pretty crazy life. I mean, he's in the course of a week, he could be in 3 different spots. He could be in LA, he could be in Vegas, he could be in New York, Florida, and then back home. But at the end of the day, he's also a father of 2 kids, and his wife is there. So yesterday, and I get this. I used to travel a lot, but I only had Lad. Okay, so as a husband and the father, you need to give your wife a break every now and then, and you need to take the kids. So he calls me yesterday, and Thero's in the background, just losing his mind. I mean, just absolutely losing his mind. And I'm doing the level best to have a conversation with him. And then he says, hey, hold on, let me call you back. I've got to go get Priya, the baby. So could you imagine 5 other people on this planet that are not criminals to give your own kid to watch?
Yeah, that's a rough sell.
Yeah, man. I was just like, I was like of all the videos, all the behind the scene videos people want from somebody, I want to see Lad babysitting his. I want to see Chael babysitting his kids.
Oh yeah, I mean I've seen it. Yeah, Chael's aloof time.
All right, Reece. We went, man. We ran 35 minutes, and I'll tell you what, Reece, you're good at this. You are good at this. So moving forward, Reece is getting over a broken heart. Are we there yet?
Yeah, I think we're doing all right.
All right, and
Tender yet, but we're.
I plead with Reece. I plead with him because you're not going to know this until you're me, until you're sitting on the other side of this thing. You've got one good run left in you, okay? But the clock is ticking, bro. The clock is ticking. Once that sand's all run out, the only way you can have another run is if you hit the lottery or somehow become a superstar. And you might as well just pay for it at that time because it's the same thing. So Reece, brother, I love you. You got one more good run in you. Dust yourself off and get back out there. I respect the not chewing, but I think it's time to get back on the booze, my friend.
Yeah, it's definitely.
All right, you got any closing words for me, my friend?
I don't, my man. Have a good day. I will talk to you soon.
All right, buddy. Thanks.
Later.
All right. So that was cool. So Reece, he was really, really good on that. And there's only a couple people, on this planet that I know of that have a different view of watching this whole sport be created through, some of the best fighters in the world. I mean, you would have to go back and be kind of a behind the scenes guy in the Militic group. That's really about it. I don't know anybody out there that has had the vantage point of me and Reece. So I was going to try to get Lad on the phone, and then I was trying to get Chael on the phone because this is going to be a really good episode of kind of revisiting things with Reece. But man, I think that's a wrap. We got 2 shows today. We had Randy on. Anyway, I got 2 shows today. You don't know that, but so the Randy show will drop Friday, and then this one will probably drop Monday or Tuesday. But anyway, Reece, you did a fantastic job. I am going to send you this. You were well spoken. You told good stories. You're going to hate it because everybody always hates how they sound until they get used to themselves. But thank you, Reece Blahuta, 1950clothingco.com. And that's it. Till next week. Peace.
You've been listening to 8192 The Truth with The Godfather. Subscribe to the show on Apple Podcast and follow the show on Facebook at facebook.com/8192 The Truth.
"21 pounds in 21 days. That is the Dolce Diet's 3 weeks to shred. Who among us would not want to lose 21 pounds in 21 days and keep them off, all while eating delicious, nutritious foods, up to 6 meals a day, 2,000 calories a day, and staying full? Brought to you by Mike Dolce, 4-time MMA Trainer of the Year, whose athletes have a 100% weigh-in success rate in the UFC. 100%. Never, ever has one of his athletes ever missed weight for a professional MMA fight. He is now bringing that knowledge and that science to you, the consumer, via thedolcediet.com. Whether it's the 3 weeks to shred program or the 8-week living lean program, you can save yourself 10% off the total cost with the code SURNEER10 at checkout. That's SURNEER10, SURNEAR10 at checkout. Regardless of the total cost, save yourself 10% off. You will look better, feel better, and you will increase your overall longevity, all the while staying full and eating food. No points, no cards, no watching your macros, none of that BS bullcrap fad nonsense. This is true science-based nutrition. Go to thedolcediet.com, use code SURNEER10 at checkout, and save yourself 10%. Who's better than that?